What we saw was terrifying. Former senior Trump official Miles Taylor endorses Joe Biden in damning video. Here's a YouTube link of the video if you'd like to skip the articles. https://youtube.b/mibxr3w. What is amazing to me is that no matter how revered and respected an individual is/was when entering the Trump administration, as soon as they start to call out the egregious nature of Trump's actions behind closed doors, the entirety of the GOP closes ranks and says that person is a lying disgruntled former employee, regardless of whether the person quit themselves or were fired, just trying to sell a book or further their career. Doesn't matter if it is a distinguished career military officer, a respected former POW senator, or a low-life fixer that turns on the Don. How can people suddenly vilify people they have looked up to and respected simply because they start to tell an inconvenient truth? From the article. He told us to stop giving money to people whose houses have burned down in a wildfire because he was so rageful that people in the state of California didn't support him and that politically it wasn't a base for him, Mr. Taylor said. Like what? His past few years in office read like the how-to section of a fascist dictator's handbook. What is wrong with that man? Link to the op-ed from Miles Taylor. Trump's indiscipline was also a constant source of frustration. One day in February 2019, when congressional leaders were waiting for an answer from the White House on a pending deal to avoid a second government shutdown, the president demanded a DHS phone briefing to discuss the color of the wall. He was particularly interested in the merits of using spray paint and how the steel structure should be coated. Episodes like this occurred almost weekly. https://www. Washington Post. com/opinion/at Homeland Security. I saw firsthand how dangerous Trump is for America. 2020/08/17/F10BB92EE0A311EAB69B64F7B0477 ed4_story. HTML. The president's bungled response to the coronavirus pandemic is the ultimate example. In his cavalier disregard for the seriousness of the threat, Trump failed to make effective use of the federal crisis response system painstakingly built after September 11. Years of DHS planning for a pandemic threat have been largely wasted. Meanwhile, more than 165,000 Americans have died. McConnell, Graham, Barr, Mulvaney, Esper, etc., all traitors for allowing Trump unlimited power. Come on, Kentucky. Get him the fuck out of there. Vote McGrath. I don't know if anyone has the link, but there's video of Trump sitting with a supporter who was having trouble with someone and Trump kept asking him, "Do you want me to ruin his career?" Some people seem better and better the closer you get to them. Trump just gets worse and worse. You just know he's a frothing man-baby behind closed doors. Mega hats think Donnie is such a galaxy big brain genius that his constant stupidity is just a 7D chess act to fool the libs. Their brains are encased in a bullshit shell so diamond hard it's gonna take decades if ever to crack through. Imagine being an undecided voter at this point. Like seriously, what's your tipping point? I saw the president regularly skirt laws and demand us to do illegal shit. Alexander Vindman, Bill Taylor, Gordon Sondland, John Bolton, John Kelly, Rex Tillerson, Miles Taylor. If you haven't gotten it by now, you're never gonna get it. I am confused as to how someone could not plainly see this in 2016, but I am happy they are trying to fix their mistake. I watched the Taylor video. These aren't mistakes that 45 is committing. These are deliberate actions to undermine and destroy our institutions, our government, and our democracy. The media often uses terms like damning or slammed. For once, it is applicable. We are so fucked if this dude gets another 4 years. These kinds of tell-all confessionals of former Trump employees, which will flood the landscape for years to come, makes me think that a current list of everyone still working within this administration should be blacklisted from any future employment opportunities within the government or outside retail/fast food, and barely that. If you continue to operate within what is essentially a banana republic administration, you forfeit the right to backpedal/assign blame to worm your way into new positions. Did this guy just completely ignore everything Trump said before being elected? It was clear he was going to be unfocused and uninterested in rational discussion from the beginning. I'm glad he finally came around to the realization, but it really shouldn't have taken being beaten over the head by it for him to recognize. This should scare everyone. Shock and awe against the American people from POTUS? Unheard of, unhinged, unbelievable. This is why you should be enthused to vote for Biden. Sure, he's an old man who's been around for a long time, but he's a real executive leader. And the damn Republicans are showing out for him. Do not buy the narrative that Biden is a reluctant vote. He's not, and he shouldn't be. You can be lukewarm on the man himself, but my God, stop making a point of saying it. Get everyone excited to vote or that's it. We're over. The USA is signed, sealed, done for. I stumped for Sanders during the primaries, but I'm proud to say this, Biden 2020. I went to college with Miles at Indiana University, where we both graduated in 2009. Our paths intersected because we were both students who studied national security issues. A semester before I met him, he interned at the White House in Dick Cheney's office through the Indiana University Washington Leadership Program. He then founded an organization called Student Alliance for National Security and used this organization to bring to campus Ambassador Prince Zaid from Jordan, who later became the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights, and Megan O'Sullivan, who served as a Deputy National Security Advisor during the Bush administration. While he did discuss some of his political leanings, they never impacted his approach to national security. I don't see him as someone from central casting, I see him as a national security professional. He was never politically active on campus, but I believe he had some connections. Senator Lugar's office. When he was an undergraduate student, he was focused towards fostering debate and discussion on national security and foreign policy issues from a nonpartisan perspective. Jared Kushner called him a nice kid. Miles received the Truman Scholarship and was a Marshall Scholar, where he received an M.Phil from Oxford. He was in the room with the president because he actually earned the right to be there. He was probably one of the few. People tell me that we should reach out to Trump supporters and speak to them like adults and allow them to see a world past Fox News. What if they want this? What if this is exactly what they voted for? Good. Get him on a Lincoln Project commercial. It seems like a common thread among Republicans is that they can't learn a lesson without it impacting them personally. Assholes who love Trump now will just watch that video and love it. The problem isn't just Trump, it's the American assholes who support him. This election needs to have the highest voter turnout in history to show the world that assholes don't rule America. This election is a vote for Trump or against Trump, that's it. A vote for Trump is a vote for 1957, when white people ruled, there were no environmental protections and black people knew their place. A vote against Trump is a vote to move forward and face realities. This is now a diverse nation, and that is our strength, and we need even more environmental protections. I said against Trump, but with today's announcement about drilling in the Arctic refuge, it's more like a vote against Snidely Whiplash. Every issue, he's picked the Whiplash side. I ask my fellow Christians, especially my fellow Catholics, how you can call this Trump pro-life. Your insistence of being a one-issue voter may decide this election, and if it does, you are going to have to answer for your vote when you meet the only one who can judge us.